If you were some sort of handy person and let's just say you had woodworking skills, woodworking tools, a pile of timber, and you had this idea in mind that you wanted to create or build a dining room table and chairs or something like that, you would never go into your shed and just grab the timber and start sawing it and screwing it together and assembling it on the run, right? You wouldn't do that. Now, the interesting thing is when I see people put together proposals or presentations, that's exactly how they put them together, generally speaking. They go into the application that they're using, whether it be PowerPoint or Keynote or whatever it is, they just start putting slides together and then filling in content. And the problem with that is they often follow the sequence of slides that come out of the presentation pack template that they're using, which is not designed around how an influencer would present information. The other thing is they're assembling information as it comes to mind, and the problem with that specifically is that they're already on board with the idea. They're not going through the thinking process that an audience would go through. So in order to resolve that, what we've done is we put together 10 questions that actually help us do part one of a two-part sequence. And that is, part one is assembling the content before you put together your presentation. Part two is putting together that presentation based on that content in a syntax that is going to work for the audience that you're presenting to. Now, what I'm going to refer to is this little downloadable PDF that we actually have on one of our courses. And in it are these 10 questions. The reason it's in question format is when you're assembling a presentation or some sort of proposal, you're basically putting together answers to questions that the audience would ideally have in mind as you run through the presentation. So all we're simply doing here is getting those questions that need to be answered and assembling them in a sequence that helps us put together the content. So that said, I'm going to run through these 10 questions. The first question is, we're going to begin with this. What idea are you pitching? What is it? What is the product or the service? So we make a note of what that is. The second question is, what problem does this idea solve that your audience cares about? And this is an important question because if you're going to propose something to people which involves some sort of change or some sort of outlay, then it should solve some sort of problem that they care about. So we're looking at this through the eyes of the audience, not through our own eyes. Question 3 is, how does it actually solve that problem, right? So we're making the connection between what we're proposing and the thing that we're trying to take away from them. Question 4, why is solving that problem important to your audience? And you'll notice here in these first 4 questions, we're looking at the front end of this. I've got this idea, you've got a problem. And what I want to do is make sure that you understand that you need to solve this problem. And that's what that question is there about. Why is solving that problem important to the audience? You're connecting the problem to the things, to their values in some way. Question 5, what is the cost of ignoring the problem, not solving it? And the reason that's there is it's a legitimate option for people to not change. You can say, listen, here's your problem, and you can stay there. But if you stay there, here's what it's going to cost you. And here's why you need to solve it, which was question 4. Question 6, what is the big outcome this solution moves you towards? We just flip the conversation here now. We're looking at the solution and saying, if you do this solution, we're going to move you towards this outcome. This is the end result. You've got a problem here, you care about it, you need to resolve it. If you don't do it, it's going to cost you something. We've got a solution. Here's what it's going to produce for you if you take that solution up. Question 7 answers some of the questions around the solution specifically itself. How does it actually work? And you would write that down in bullet point. Right, it works this way, or the way that you would approach the utilization of this would be in this sequence or something like that. Question 8, what benefits will come from using your solution? And again, we're talking about the back end content. If you do this, here's what you're going to get in return. Question 9, what do you want your audience to do as the next step? Question 9 and 10 actually relate to this concept of a call to action. A lot of people forget that when they're doing a proposal or a presentation, that they should wrap this up at the very end by asking the people in the room to do something. You don't just leave it open-ended. And you can do this upwards, downwards in any level of an organization. I know that because I've been doing it for 25 years. At the end of the proposal, you're going to say, okay, here's what we need to do. And it could be as simple as, leave here, think about the idea that we presented, and I'll give you a call tomorrow. Or think about this and we'll come back tomorrow and we'll make a decision about that. Or it could be, I want you to buy this now, right? If you're presenting information from a stage in order to get people to buy into some sort of product or service that you have, you would ask them, you say, listen, here's an offer, take it up. And then question 10 answers the question, what you can do for them for taking immediate action, right? Not only do I want you to take up this offer, if you do it now, here's going to be some benefits. So effectively what we've got there is 10 questions that if you use those questions effectively, what they're going to do is allow you to assemble the right information so that when you deliver your presentation, it's going to be in the correct order. It's going to be in the order of, you got a problem. Here's the cost to you if you don't solve that problem. And here's why you know you need to change that problem. Here's what I'm proposing. Here's how it works. And if you do this, here's the outcome you're going to move towards, and here's the benefits you're going to get from that. So we kind of structured that information before we put it into the sequence that we would deliver it in. And there you go. Hope that was useful. If you want more information about this particular topic, don't forget, go to the website, 9skillsfactory.com/course of the month. And I'm sure there's going to be something of interest there for you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.